Okay, Comics Plus. What's going on? Akasan here. How you guys doing? It's a little bit of a different day today. I'm not streaming today, but I'm gonna go ahead and make a YouTube video as a kind of public statement. And since I'm not streaming, I usually put something out like this with the Twitch audience, but I wanted to go ahead and just that's good. I wanted to go ahead and address this issue really quickly to let you guys know what is going on with the Stellar Blade controversy right now, that has transpired over the weekend, and why some people are choosing to actually protest or boycott Stellar Blade, but not for the reason you might have originally thought, which was some of the controversy when Stellar Blade was first coming out. But let me go ahead and first and foremost just backtrack and let you guys know, when Stellar Blade was first announced and shown, people pretty much saw this as something like Near Automata a little bit. Is that how you call it? A Near. It's a Near-ish type game meets Elden Ring, Dark Souls-ish, the other Sekiro one as well, right? And but as most people know, if you're already familiar with the title, you know that this is done by Shift Up, the same company responsible for Nikkei, the game on the phone game, where it was very well known and took the world by storm, the gaming world by storm, mobile gaming world by storm, by having sexy women shoot. It's a shooting game with sexy women, but their backsides are pointed to you, and the butt is jiggling all the time. Lots of balance effects, lots of fan service, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. That was the catch. That was the hook, line, and sinker, right? Exactly. So when Stellar Blade was on its way out, that was exactly the same sort of appeal. Yes, there are game mechanics that people are familiar with, that fans of those mechanics are interested in, but let's not kid ourselves. The main draw, the main appeal was the fact that its sexiness, its rawness, sort of the non not afraid to shy away from the glory that is women, being fictional or whatever, right? That sex appeal, everything. In some ways, for some people, Stellar Blade was the pioneer, was supposed to be the chosen one of bringing sexiness back to video game world. Not to make it like an East versus West situation, but it was supposed to really push the levels. I mean, just look at the way people were trying to make Tifa sort of the poster child for that same sort of appeal, feel and appeal, versus a game like what was that one game? The Square Enix game, the Square Enix American game, not Enchanted, but I can't even Charmed or something like that, right? Or unfortunately, a title I love, the Horizon series, and are The Last of Us 2, like that, right? And there's a few other examples, but I'm not gonna tap into that too much. But I'm just letting you know, background wise, for a lot of people, that's what Stellar Blade was, and that's why a lot of people jumped on to it. I personally, put in for the deluxe edition, to do my part to let people know that this is what some gamers really want, right? This is what a return to this sort of the sexy side. Like I've said in the past, like some of y'all could have never survived the Dead or Alive beach volleyball phase, and honestly speaking, even Dead or Alive did not survive that phase and such. I was just having a meeting with some people in the video game industry, and just a week ago we were just talking about the times when those games were coming out, and it was just so much easier. The industry was, it was a whole different thing. Remember Lollipop Chainsaw Girl, that game as well, even then, right? And, but that there is an audience for that sort of stuff, and if you're going to release a mature game, you might as well, why shy away from that, right? So, what does this all have to do with the Free Stellar Blade controversy, right? Well, what is going on? Why am I even making this video? Well, the Shift Up Stellar Blade, they made an announcement, I think about a week before release, that Stellar Blade would not be an uncensored version, would be released worldwide. There would be no changes. It's gonna be released worldwide. Blah blah blah. And we were like, cool, man, we are so down with that. Like, they are getting with this whole flagship situation. They are getting with being the pioneer of bringing raw, gritty, and sexy, most importantly, sexy back, right? Little did we know, on literally day one when the game was released last Friday, day one when the game was released, there was a mandated patch that was sent out digitally that would update your game and essentially censor a lot of things. On it, to be fair, I won't say it was a lot of things, but it was concerning things. First and foremost, one of probably the biggest things that most of you guys have heard of was the fact that there was a hard R, some graffiti here. There was graffiti at the top here with hard R, and apparently, allegedly, this was offensive to, I guess, black people or something like that. Apparently, like, it took me a while. I didn't even really understand the problem here, but apparently that's what that meant, using a hard R in the N word or something like that. So some people complained about it, so then they basically patched it out and instead replaced they replaced it with the word crime instead. I mean, even more concerning, honestly speaking. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. When I heard hard R, I really just thought it was a reference to the fact that they're pushing, when you have a rating system, you have the PG, you have PG-13, then you have a hard PG-13 where they're pushing it like it's going to be, and then you have rated R, which in games is usually you rated M for mature, right? And it's just going to be a hard M or something like that. I literally thought that's what the whole reference was like, yeah, we're pushing this as hard as we can, right? But anyways, this was such a minor thing though, because it was like, when I heard that they were gonna patch this out and change it, it's like, what? It's a goddamn wall, right? It's not the reason I bought the game. It's not like, look, I guess some pushback is to be expected, but it's like, whatever, right? It's a wall, right? You're gonna pass it. If it wasn't even brought up, I probably wouldn't have even noticed, right? Then, unfortunately, though, then we started with this new patch. We started seeing a lot more things going on, and this is where people started losing their minds. So the outfits that you would buy, generally the outfits that you can buy or you can earn in the game, as advertised once again, and this is the most important thing, is that this is the clincher here. This is the sinker. This is the reason. This was the tease of, like, why you're going to play this. Well, why some people are going to be playing this game. You're earning these unique outfits, right? And this was supposed to be one of them, the bunny rabbit, holiday rabbit type outfit. Very popular right now. It's very trending in Japan. Bunny bars and sexy girls and things like that, right? Typical Cindy Crawfordish type swimsuit. It's not even a two-piece, which is crazy to me. But they, in the patch, there's the patch on you can't see it so well. Let me see if that works. Here we go. There you go, like that. Okay, so as you can see, they patched out, first and foremost, the cleavage they did the Tifa they did the Tifa negligee thing, which doesn't first and foremost, this doesn't make sense for a bikini anyways, to have some sort of lace in the middle here. That makes no damn sense at all. And a bunny, look, I know bunny girl outfits, man. I know bunny outfits. There ain't nothing like that. Anyways, first and foremost, and at first I didn't really realize, like I was like, okay, whatever, not a big deal. But then I started noticing they added in some shitty mesh on the side here as well. And again, like, I mean, yeah, would this have been much more preferred? Of course. But, I'm like, okay, whatever. Kind of annoying, didn't bother me too much, but at first I was like, okay. Then as the weekend started passing, as the weekend started going, there were more examples coming up. Another notable one here, I'll show you. And this one, yeah, ironically, this one, I could see this is pretty ridiculous in terms of the censorship. Here's the part, the original version here, and then after the patch, they added some boob bra. They covered up the cleavage about what 40%. 50, I'm being gracious here. 40% boob coverage. Everybody, what the hell? I don't even know if there's even more to this cleanup here, but it's just like, okay, man. Again, like how did Rumble Roses, if you guys remember that title, how did Rumble Roses even get past, like, I miss those good old days when these games could be made without, this is getting crazy. Like, it's such a minor thing, but I'm gonna get to the main importance here in just one moment. Second, now this one is unconfirmed or not. By the way, I will say there's also a bikini. There's a purple bikini with some that has some the same shoddy mesh that's added into it, like the yellow lines. I'm actually not that. I'm not that opposed to that one, only because of the fact that it actually kind of added some weird variants to it and looks a little like, and a few models I know have done photo shoots like that with the caution tape. So my favorite girl, this girl right, my Aya, she's done a few photo shoots like that. I'm like, I'm down with it, but still it is some kind of form of censorship, right? Then this one, I've seen some videos saying blood has been edited. The only photo I could find right now for you is the one that's been circulating, is the fact that, but I did indeed see a video, a side-by-side comparison video of the demo. When you split open this boss, Eve is covered in blood, as it should make sense, right? In the new version, her being covered in blood has been removed and such. So again, this is still more or less speculation, because I haven't seen enough concrete evidence to come out, and as well as the fact that we can only really compare what has been advertised, what the demo was releasing versus the final product, and can only go so far, right? That being said, now first and foremost, you can make the argument in terms of the blood and functionality and things like that. When the demo comes out, they do say product not final. That is indeed true. So with that, the blood situation, it's a functionality. It might be a functionality thing. I doubt it, but who knows? However, this case of cleavage, the curious case of cleavage and costumes and things like that, there's no reason to censor it. There's no functional reason. Is it going to make the game run better? No. Right? So why do it, right? Why do it unless you're just trying to make some bizarre point? Same thing with the hard R situation, things like that, right? And while I would say I'm being generous, for the majority of gamers out there, that's not, that when they're getting these games, they're more or less concerned about the gameplay, right? I, on the other hand, in terms of these games, that's not, it's gonna be the graphics, it's gonna be what was advertised to me. And I think that's the main point to keep in mind, and why some people have been returning the game. and taking a stand, canceling their Sony subscription directly with Sony, because that's I should rephrase here that it may not be the publisher that's behind, it may not be Shift Up that's behind this censorship. Most people are pointing the finger to Sony based on past atrocities and situations. Sony USA coming in and censoring things up. Nobody really knows where it lies. They did interview somebody that works for Stellar Blade, and they gave a very like gun to the head type answer, saying this is the final product they want you to see, which reminds me of Suicide Squad here. Suicide Squad and every Zack Snyder movie when it first, actually with the exception of Zack Snyder, because he'll usually say like he has a better version that he wants to put out, right, an uncut version. But you know, when David Ayer came out, he's like, oh no, this is the Suicide Squad movie, and then later, oh yeah, this wasn't really the Suicide. I think that's how that story went down. Anyways, here's the thing. Here's where I sit on this spectrum situation. Is again going back to when the demo first came out, when Stellar Blade was first making its rounds, Stellar Buns, right? Things like that. What was advertised is not what was received. And what makes it worse, and I think this is the most important point, that this was a practice done after the fact. It would be one thing. It would be one thing if 2 weeks prior, 3 weeks prior, all the review, and this is important as well, if all the review copies that were sent out for review, if all the review copies had the censorship already in it, and everybody knew that this was going to be coming anyways, that this patch was going to be coming out, changing some things, censoring some things 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time, then consumers would have that choice not to buy the product if they so choose, right? But this is probably the dirtiest bait and switch sort of gaming practice I've seen in the gaming industry, to clean it up after the fact. Day one, you can't even play the game for a minute before they start cleaning it up. That's not what some people bought the game for. It was advertised for a particular certain audience, some people, right? It had a particular theme to it, and that's being taken. Some of that is being taken away, right? Yes. Are there other costumes that are just as sexy or whatever? Yes, I guess there's a teddy bear costume in there, right? But what if I was that consumer who really wanted, look, I'm Akasan, right? What if I really was into this red and black wrestler looking outfit, and that's what I wanted? You know, the fact that you're essentially coming in and taking that away should be a breach of contract, right? It's false advertising. Now that, especially doing it after the game actually came out. And I think that's really the principle of it, is that foreseeing this, how it goes, if we allow publishers, developers to do this sort of standard business practice after the fact and start changing things after you get the money, after you give them your money, then where does it stop, right? This might sound kind of crazy, but it's like, look, if they're able to get away with, if a big fuss is not made about it now, then what happens next time Spider-Man 3 comes out and they start changing things way later after the game comes out, right? Or they start changing things so when you buy that game, when you're ready for the next Spider-Man 3 game, and they make a drastic change or patch something out right the day of, you're going to feel like a change of story direction. You're going to feel like you got lied to just a little bit, you know? I think that's what is really on the line right now here. Is it's one thing to make some minor changes that don't affect the overall feel and appeal of the game. But if you're advertising a particular product and you didn't get said product, and let's not forget, I don't even remember what the full details were with buying the deluxe outfit, but you know, the deluxe products had particular outfits, particular things, incentives to when that you get, right? If those things are changed or censored upon release, then that would be somewhat a void of a contract. You order a steak, but then they only give you lean cut or something like that. You know, you want it Wagyu, you want it the grade A Wagyu Kobe beef style, right? But they give you Arby's, or they cover it up with, they give you day old Arby's or something like that, right? That's what's happening here, and I guess that's one of the reasons a lot of people are coming out here and doing hashtag free Stellar Blade and things like that. Is it silly? Yes, I get it. I've seen the change.org petition out here, and some people making complaints about it, right? But is it important? Also, yes, because foresighting what can happen in the future with other, if you allow this business practice to happen this time, this one time right now, what's to stop another developer from doing it later? What's to stop Sony? What's to stop anybody from, hey, you know what? Okay, now nobody complained too much. Shoot. If pre-ordering incentives weren't kind of an iffy business practice to begin with, and then shipping retail, that's another one that really is interesting. Sending retailers, reviewers, an unpatched version, an uncensored version to get better reviews, what have you not. It's interesting, you know. And then again, let's also not forget the whole idea that Stellar Blade, the company themselves, came out and were just really tooting how they're going to be uncensored across the world, blah, blah, blah. And now we see this, which hopefully it's not them behind it, but they're still going to be mixed up in this drama. So all that being said, oh, and I should also mention that if you do have the physical version of the disc, as long as you unplug your PlayStation and don't ever update your PlayStation with the game files, you'll be fine. But what a ridiculous struggle, right? I personally, until, you know, I'm in the process of returning the deluxe digital version, because you can, from what I've been hearing, you're able to get your money back for false advertising. I feel like that is what's happening right now. In my case, I will certainly be more open to the PC version, seeing about what type of changes they'll make with that, with the PC version. And then of course we have mods to get what we really wanted, right? But you know, the whole idea thing, the whole thing for me, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but you know, what was advertised and the sort of movement, the image, the idea of what was being pushed into the industry to kind of have this return of beautiful Asian sexiness back again, is getting a little bit of pushback. And so therefore that's not what I ordered, and that's not what I wanted to spend almost $90. Do you know what the yen conversion on that right now is for me? That's like Ichiman Sen yen or something. It's like over 100. For me, it's really like over 100 something dollars. For getting the deluxe package pre-ordered, all that other stuff, right? That's not really what if I wanted to do something, if I wanted something like that, if it was really mainly about the core gameplay and mechanics and all that, I'm gonna put in my money toward Elden Ring, the next Elden Ring one, right? There's other games that I want, but my whole thing for putting money into Stellar Blade was the fact that they were going to be one of the only companies out here with some bringing sexy back, and I wanted to make sure that movement was heard with my money. But if that's going to be censored, then there's no point. So that is void in my contract of purchasing. I hope that makes sense. I know for other people it doesn't matter if you don't want to return the game. I know for some people like Drew Struggle Nation over there, Echo Mog, he's a big Nier fan, so obviously his thing is going to always be the fact that it's kind of a sister sort of game to Nier with those same elements, so it's a sort of a different thing, right? And that's fine, and I think that's fine for other people out there as well. So we shall see, but man, this is going to be very interesting to see if this becomes standard practice with so many games, when games come out. It's one thing to patch some sort of mechanics to make things better and more enjoyable for the players to enjoy, but patching aesthetics and things that were used to sort of hype a game up, that's pretty shady. All right, Red Dread Nation, stand up, speak up. Let me know what you guys think about this entire situation. What side of the fence that you're agreeing on here, and I think also something just also to keep in mind is, like, I would say be understanding. I know it's funny, I was explaining this to my wife, and then I showed her some of the videos from change.org, and some people complaining and such, and yeah, it's fun. It's a little embarrassing too, right? But at the end of the day, that's when I also realized, I'm like, yo, I paid $90. Like, I didn't need to buy this game immediately. I spent almost $90 on this on a deluxe game on top of that, because I wanted to show my support for Shift Up and gets this out here. And obviously the main proponent, just like Nikkei, the main proponent is sexy women, showing off the beauty of sexy Asian-ish women. She's a robot or whatever, but yeah, Asian-ish women. And showing, like, yo, this world, this movement, this feel and appeal, it's not dead. Like, it can still be a profitable situation, and there's still an audience out there. Just like Masume Shiro, Ghost in the Shell, all his artwork, all that stuff. I miss those days. I want a Dead or Alive beach volleyball-ish game with Tifa, or I want Square Enix to put something like that out there. So, but if we're just going to end up getting censored down the line, like, I'd rather just support a PC version where there's a lot less restrictions and things like that. Okay, I'll talk to you on the next controversy. Take care, y'all. Peace.